Alright, so we're going to go through all the questions that you're going to see on the test. There are a total of 4 standards on there. You can look these up online if you want to know what those are. But if you don't, that's fine. There are these. So we're going to be going through this. So our first question is here. It says to evaluate. This is very similar. I think this is actually some questions from Quiz A, I think. Again, I'm going to change the numbers when we get to the test. But we're going to just put it in the calculator as shown. So let's get this up here. So, I gotta have this a little higher. So 15, oops, enter, clear. Okay, so 15, oops, clear this out, sorry, gotta use the mouse. 15, power button, parenthesis, 4 divided by 3, close parenthesis, enter. So you can see how to put that in right there. And then we get 36 point, what was it? Oops, wrong one. 36.99. So, there we go. The next one here is 81. Just remember that that roots are fractional powers. And I think most of you are starting to really figure that out. And never going to forget it after this unit, hopefully. But we're going to put that in the calculator as it's written there. So we have 81 power button parenthesis 4 divide 3 close parenthesis enter. We get 350.47. We're done. Question number 2, we're given that statement and we want to prove that it's equal to that. Again, with this type of question, you're just learning to rewrite things. So let's rewrite this power. So this is, well, we have the root, and we have 2/3, and then 3t is the same as 3 over 1t, and then these are going to cross cancel. So we get the square root of 4.5 squared t, and the root and the 2 are going to cancel, and we get 4.5t. So just understanding that we can rewrite things using our rules. Again, we're going to be multiplying these, so it's our first question. We're multiplying, which means we're going to add the powers. Now, when we add things that are different denominators, we need to find like denominators. So that means I need to times this one by 4 and times this one by 3. So I get 4 over 12 plus 3 over 12, which equals 7 over 12. Now, don't stop here. This is x7 over 12. Alright, don't forget your base. The second question is exactly the same, except we're subtracting. Now on this one here, I can times this by 2, times this by 2, so I get 4 over 10 minus 1 over 10. And that gives me m to the 3/10. Number 4, we're going to simplify this. Just remember that those are fractional powers. So we have this inside. And the denominator comes from here. Then we can just divide these out. So we have this x equals squared and y to the 10th. Same thing here. The 4th root of 81 we can't do. So I'm just going to write the 4th root of 18. Sorry, we can't do, not 81, 18. But we can write x 8 over 4. We can write y 9 over 4 and z 4 over 3. And this pen is not being my friend right now, is it? So let's rewrite these. 8 over 4. Here, just a second. So let's rewrite these because that pen was giving me some issues. So you have 8 over 4 and then 9 over 4 and then 3 over 4. So this is 4 root 18, you can't do anything with that. 8 divided 4 is 2, so we have x squared. 9 over 4, this is 9 over 4, is going to be y squared, y to the 1/4. That's what's left. So this is going to have a 4th root on it. Then this doesn't do anything, I can't take anything out of this. 3/4 doesn't work. So we're going to have the 4th root of z to the 3rd. Then the stuff that's out of the root, the x squared and the y squared, is going to stay out of the root. The stuff that's still in the root, we're going to put all together inside a single root. and get the answer. Number 5, we have two expressions here. One, I'm just going to cross this out and write x to the 1/4 plus 10. Because it's the same thing, like if I erase it, you can see that that's the same thing. But I'm going to use this instead when using my function notation. So I'm going to put this in. So we have f of x is that, so we have 2x to the 1/4 plus 5. G of x is this, so we're going to have x to the 1/4 plus 10. And we have like terms here, so we have these have the same powers. So we have 2 in one of them, so a total of 3. And then we're going to put our numbers together and get 15. The next one is subtraction. It's the same exact thing. So I'm going to put parentheses around it this time though because we're subtracting. And then I'm going to distribute this negative in. Let me erase this. So it's going to be negative x to the 1/4 minus 10. And then these I can put together again, except this is negative now, so we're going to only get 1x to the 1/4. And then this is a positive and a minus 10, so we get minus 5 when we're done. Sweet. This one's function composition. So this is that, and this is that. And so we're going to start with the yellow. So here's 4 x plus 1. And then we're going to put the green inside. So I'm going to erase that x and put the green inside. And then now I just multiply, and I'm done. Function composition. Hooray! Number 7 says write the inverse. So to find an inverse of anything, you just switch x and y around and solve. So I'm going to switch this, and so we get x is equal to the square root of y minus 10. And then we need to solve, so we need to square both sides to cancel that out. So we get x squared is equal to y minus 10. And then we need to add 10 over to get our inverse. So our inverse is x squared plus 10 equals y. This is the inverse right here. And this is where we started. We need to state the domain of range for this graph, or for this. So I'm going to just do that graphically. So here's the graph of a square root function. The farthest left that I go is 10, and I can contain 10, and I go right forever. So that's going to be infinity. And this is going to be our domain. Our range, the farthest down on the graph that I go is 0. The farthest down is 0. And this is going to go up forever. And that's domain of range for that. Are the functions f and g below our inverses of each other? The answer is yes, and we have to show our work. So we're going to do g of f of x and then f of g of x. So to do this, we're going to put one inside the other and the other inside the one. So we're going to do it first, we're going to do 8x plus minus 2, and we're going to put this inside that one, and we're going to do it backwards. We're going to take that one and put it inside the other and see what happens. Now notice here, these are going to cancel, and those are going to cancel, so I'm left with just x, which means it's an inverse. Notice those are going to cancel, and then these are going to cancel, so we're left with x, so that is an inverse. So remember to do this, that we do these function compositions. So we're going to put g inside f, which is this one, and then we're going to put f inside g, which is that one. And then everything should cancel, and we're left with just x for the answers. Describe how to obtain the graph of this. Well, the shape looks like this, right? This here is going to be right 1 and then down 3. So I've described it now. So we're going to go right 1, down 3, and we have the graph. Now again, we want an XY chart if we want an A. So our first point on this chart is positive 1, negative 3. Then we're going to go up 1 because these graphs only go up. And we're going to solve that to find out what that point is, which is right there. So I can see that that is a well-drawn graph. The domain and range here. Domain is going to start at 1 and go on for infinity. And for those that are wondering how I got that, it is that number right there. That's another quick way about doing it. And then the range is this number here, and it comes from our first point. Okay, and you can see that I go down to 3, so that's, makes sense. 10, we're going to graph this function. It has a +2 on the end, so don't get confused here. It's a little misshapen when I pasted this stuff in. So this is going to be left 4, and this is going to be up 2. So we're going to go left 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, up 2. Okay, now this is a third root, which means it's going to go up and down. So when I draw this, I'm going to go up and down. The domain and range, well, first I'm going to make an XY chart, and then I'll state the domain and range. So let's do an XY chart. And our first point is -4, 2. We're going to do one above and one below. And when I put it in the calculator, it's going to give me those numbers. And I'm going to have these graphs on here, like that, those points. Now we can do domain and range. This one is the same thing for both. The domain is all real numbers, or another way to write it is -infinity to +infinity. Or again, you can write all real numbers instead. Because the graph goes up and down in both directions forever, obviously it's going right farther and left farther faster, but it's still going in both directions forever. So we're going to solve this and check for extraneous solutions. This is a root 4, so we're going to use a power 4 to get rid of that. So we're going to get 5x plus 1. 3 times 3 is 9, times 3 is 27, times 3 is 81. Then we're going to subtract 1 and divide off the 5. So x is equal to what? 16. Then we're going to substitute it in to see if it works, to check it, because we're going to get an A. That's the fourth root. 81 is what that becomes. That does work. It is an answer. Number 12, we're going to do the reciprocal power. So 4/3, 4/3. All right. Now, those are going to cross cancel, so we get 3x minus 8 equals, and then we can put this in our calculator. I believe it's 64, so let me check. Nope, I was wrong. I put in my calculator and we're getting 40.32. We're going to add 8. So we get 3x is equal to 48.32. We're going to divide off the 3. So we get x is equal to, so 48.32 divided by 3, we get 16.10. Okay, then we're going to put this in, so we get 3, 16.10 minus 8 to the 3/4 is equal to 16. Now I'm just going to put that in the calculator here. So 3 parenthesis, so here 3 parenthesis 3 parenthesis 16.10 parenthesis minus 8 parenthesis power button parenthesis 3 divide 4. Enter, and I get that. I get 15.99. So I rounded. That is good. This is an answer. Okay, last question of the test. Again, this is a little bit harder one. I am running a bit out of time, so I will have to do this a little quickly. But again, the same thing. We get rid of that by squaring. And then this is going to be a FOIL. Okay, so we got first, outer, inner, last. So we get y squared plus 22y plus 121. Okay, that's when we get that here. And then we're going to subtract 2y, subtract 2y, subtract 21, subtract 21. So we get 0 is equal to y squared plus 20y plus 100. And then, again, this is the A-level question. I'm going to run out of time here. We're going to tic-tac-toe this, and then we're going to do the opposites, and we'll have to check our answers. If you have any questions, let me